I'm going to talk to you guys about 5 ways to improve your garden immediately. Immediately. 5 ways. You're going to get 5 tips right here. And I'm going to start it off with the bonus tip. Bonus tip first, mulch. So you already got the first free tip. And I'm going to give you guys 5 more to improve your soil, like immediately. Like immediately. It'll be as black as me. But seriously, if you want to improve your soil like really quickly, like I said, the first bonus tip is mulch. I'm gonna walk you guys through my garden and give you 5 more. A lot of people in the, I don't know if it's called permaculture or premaculture or how you pronounce it, community are talking about food forests. And I was kind of new to the concept because I just thought that's how you're supposed to grow anyway. So I've already uh, been doing food foresting for many years. Before I even came across the term, before I even knew it was a thing, um, it's just the way that I grow. It seems to be the most natural. It seems to be the easiest. And I mean, you just cannot knock like yield like that. I mean, like, especially when you're not doing work, right? When you're not doing work, you cannot ignore the high abundance. So, uh, this is a blackberry patch. As you can see, there are like all kinds of sticks and crud in here or whatever. Yeah, sure, it looks bad, but the vines actually like grow over these every single year, and I don't know, it kind of helps out a lot. But I don't know if you guys can see in the camera, but there are a lot of flowers, and if you look up close, hopefully you guys can see that there are berries like already out. So we got full flowers and full berries. Like, this thing is already ready to pump and start producing fruit, and then keep on producing fruit just all on its own. So that's tip 2. Just find the natural ways. Let me clarify what tip 1 is. I forgot. Bonus tip was first. So tip number 1, growing in your natural environment. I want to just tell you guys to look around wherever you plan to plant. See what is already growing there. Research those if you can. I mean, not everything is reliable, like through a photo and looking at it. Like, it's kind of hard to identify some plants sometimes. But try to do your best and see what conditions those like. You know, look at that tiny environment. This is getting into tip 2. Everything is in a micro environment. So start putting your things into micro environments. Once you learn what those natural environments are in your yard, start helping that natural environment for whatever you want to produce there. So these are pawpaw trees. So this is going to be part of my mulching in here, because this right here is just a giant, as you can see, forest part of my yard. It's forever going to be a forest. And I found trees that produce fruit inside said forest, and this thing loves it. I got multiple tier canopies here. Multiple canopies for it to just love and just eat that. Southern sun just comes like right down that way. So what I did is I just mimicked the natural environment that this thing would grow in anyway. I mean, this is year 2. This thing it's bigger than me now. It's huge, and I'm just now getting into mulching this guy. This is the other one. He is also trying to flex on your boy. Look at that. But yeah, the natural environment. Just try to mimic that. So we got 2 tips. See what's already growing there before you plant. That way you know what to plant. Tip 1. Try to mimic and encourage that environment as much as you can. And that goes in many ways. And that's going to lead us into tip 3 here. You don't always have to like cut back or destroy things in order to get results. So I mean, I guess I'll walk back here for kind of an example, because I did do some cutting. Obviously, I did do some cutting, but not a lot. Like wherever I could, I did a braid. I took this guy up out of the way. I didn't have to cut. And he's braided in there. And he is loving that. He's super happy. Everybody's happy. I got space. I got a nice little, kind of a productive kind of fence here. It kind of helps with the wind. I don't know. It kind of helps with the shade. Kind of like a closure, And I got plenty of space through here. So that's tip 3. You don't always have to destroy everything. Get it all the way down to the bare dirt to start enjoying. I mean, I did plant a huge hole. I did up like a huge hole. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I still did maybe like almost like a 4x4 foot hole for both trees. So I mean, I did dig up a lot, but that's all. That's just about all I did. If there was a tree in the area, I took the root out, and I tried to put those roots somewhere else. They failed, but I tried. I don't know, guys. That I had some blueberries here, like at one point, and my guy came through and he mowed them over. But every single year, I always like, when does it come back? Because you never know. Plants are creepy. So we're going into tip number 4. All right. If you don't already have like a food forest or like an environment like this with like multiple stage environments, I got I got a meadow area, and I got a forest area. Well, I got multiple forest areas of different kinds, and different areas. Well, hopefully the pH and like all that's different. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really test it. You don't really got to stress yourself out about that. That's the whole point of growing this way. With the grain, growing with the grain. We're probably going to coin that phrase. We're growing with the grain, guys. So it's another micro environment. This is another meadow that I've started. It used to have some trees here and stuff like that. But yeah, I've kind of cleared away a little bit. I'm letting some stuff grow up. Mostly because I really don't know what I want to do here yet. I kind of want to build here. So just for now, I'm letting it, just natural over and just be over. Like that way bees will come here and they'll have excess stuff. So whenever I do need to cut down an area, I don't have to, clear away or take too much out for the natural environment to keep doing its thing. Like your bees, your insects, and all that kind of stuff. That's one of the reasons why you don't want to clear away like too much. Because it extends, not just to the plant, but it extends to, what the plant also does for the environment and all that, etc. Even down to that plant just merely blocking wind. Or that plant really just holding a spot in erosion. It gets pretty chaotic. So we're into tip 4. Okay, if you don't already have a multiple stage environment, you can create one. Okay, and you can oversow seedlings quite easily. I have a bunch of them in just little containers like this with seedlings inside. I don't know if you guys can see that, but all that green, hopefully y'all can see that green in there. All that green in there, those are fresh sprouts. And I don't just have those are just some just for experimenting, like small greenhouses. I can pluck those out of there and put them in like a little pot or put them in a certain spot in the ground, if I don't have enough. But you can always just overseed. So this part right here of the yard, as you can see, has been scarred from mowing, only to reveal these little seedlings here. Okay? So you can oversow. And I mean, I have a bunch of these little seedlings in the yard. I don't know if you guys can see. I think I can see. And I just literally just oversowed them. Okay? I mean, look, this is just like a $5 bag of seeds. All right, it's not rocket science, guys. It's not really anything like too complicated. And the cool thing about sunflowers or overseeding some things is they're edible. So you can have these edibles in your natural environment. Which brings me into tip 5. Okay? Create the environment that you desire. Okay? And just by those 4 tips, including that bonus tip that I started you guys off with, the mulch. All right? Because even if your soil is like non-existent, you get the mulch, you can change that. You start overseeding, you can change that. So no matter your soil type, okay, you follow those tips. Like it really doesn't matter. You should be able to plant wherever. I'm gonna also try to do this out in the desert because these microenvironments do exist and you can influence them in your garden. I know, like, you probably think like, oh man, it's not raining every day. No, it's not. But you gotta also like wonder where all that dew and stuff comes from. All that moisture is still in that microenvironment, and you can recreate that. So that's 5 tips, guys, including that first bonus tip I started you guys off with. That's going to be the easiest thing to do, mulch. Okay. There were some guys literally cutting trees like right across over here, and I just asked them, hey man, you guys want to just dump that right here? And they were like, hey, well, that's the easiest dump of our lives. Like, why not? So I mean, this, you can get it for free. Okay. All these tips, they're not only cheap tips, but they're free tips, guys. They're free. Letting your garden overgrow, you can create your own mulch, all this stuff. And then when you do cut it, like all this stuff right here is nutrients for your garden. So you're getting a bonus tip at the end of the video. It's just 7 tips, guys. So all this stuff right here that you're cutting, while I'm talking about this bonus tip, I might as well. So right here, this guy right here, this is a locust. And every time it, deposits debris back into the ground, all that debris releases nitrogen back. So whenever you do let your garden overgrow, you can let it overgrow and then decide to cut it and use all that cutting to, mulch over your garden. So even if you don't have tree cutters in the area to get free mulch, you can let a certain part of your yard overgrow for free mulch. So there you go. 7 tips. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. I know this is my first video, but yeah, there will be more.